So you see the museum like from the outside, and there are these banners that say "Redemption Now" in like big giant letters. And inside also there's like an even bigger one, and that's kind of like the first thing that kind of hits you, like with this museum. That's the first thing that's really in your face. And like the first, like, I guess, section of the exhibit, it was this really elaborate layout in this complex symbolic way that was like they had plaques explaining like the artistic significance of it, of like the narrowing hallways and like the ground is uneven and stuff like that. And the first room that I entered, like it was off-putting. The first one, my first actual like steps of like being in this museum was off-putting. Like it was this Hall of Exile portion, and the first room I turned into in the Hall of Exile, there was like an enormous screen, and it was like someone playing drums on like a mountaintop, and the piece was entitled "Drum Beats," and like it had this like explanation, and like I was like, okay, is this just like an art museum that has like some nebulous Jewish themes? And then the more I explore the first area, then like I did see some connection, but like it's still, they had like these kind of spare displays of like, like a big wall and then just like a photograph or something like that. And like it was about the Holocaust, and it was about, it was about what happened, but I was still like, okay, some of these feel like they're just like like kind of showcasing the artist, and like here's this German artist, like ingenious creativity, and telling people about this subject. Like it was using like the history as like a springboard for like, here, like, look at this, look at this ingenious artist. And like that was that made me skeptical of the museum. And like um the you go into this big area, and there's a staircase going up, and it's called, I think they call it like the Tower of Holocaust. And I was like, okay. And I'm going up, and like, it's the architecture is really nice, and but I was skeptical, and at the end you see this thing with like these Jewish names that are like kind of crumbling and stuff, and it's supposed to be very, very artistic. Um, and then at the top, then there's a door into another room, and then that was when like everything changed, and it ceased being just like this kind of artistic display. Um, and, like I was not prepared for the impact that this place had on me. I haven't been emotional in a museum like this in quite a while. At the top of the staircase, then there's a doorway into an exhibit. You climb this way up, and then you go into a doorway, and then there's a gigantic exhibit basically going through all the rooms, going back down the this hill you just climbed. And that part of the museum is about Judaism and Jews in Germany before the Holocaust. And I walk in, and I see on the wall, huge, towering over me, Anochi Hashem Elokecha Asher Hotzeitzich Meretz Mitzrayim Mibeis Avadim. It's the Aseret Dibros, like written out like as if you photographed like a Torah scroll. It's the Ten Commandments, and then next to it, just as big, Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, and the Hafta, that whole area, that whole part of the parsha, like the whole part of the parsha with all the text surrounding it, and like a placard explaining how important this statement is to Jews. And I started getting really emotional. And then there's a Torah scroll, and there's more explanation, and then there's a floor to ceiling daf of Gemara, and it's like the beginning of Brachos or something, and there's a card explaining like what the Talmud is, and I wasn't sure why I was getting this intensely visceral flood of emotions. Like it was like I was tearing up, and I was like breathing heavily, and I wasn't even sure if it was like a positive or negative, like exactly, or like what feeling I was feeling. I kept thinking like, am I horrified by this? Like, is this some kind of like sick display? And like the answer was no. The I realized what it was. It was that this was Germans learning about Judaism. Um, and so I've the last week or a couple of weeks in preparation for this trip, I've been reading Mein Kampf, and the experience of reading that book as a Jew, it's like it's seeing someone spin this twisted, terrifying story about these people, these parasites, and there's this like insane projection of motive and all these extreme like grandiose ultimate goals of the Jew that has to do with like the whole religion and the whole aim of our people is to like destroy the German and his world and to destroy the very idea of the individual and like the idea of heroism and human dignity and just digging it digs into every facet of the Jews, like from their appearance to their dress, and like not just like their not just like the religion per se, but like the very idea that it is a religion, like it's that the whole religion, the idea that it's a religion itself is a ruse, and it transforms like the whole like underpinnings of like Jewish identity as this tangle of lies and malice and hatred. And like that's the picture of Jews that Germans had. That was this was the book, and then this is and the population as a whole. Um, you know, People who were actively participating and people, this was what they thought Jews were. And being in this room in the museum where they were teaching Germans about what we really are, um, and they're teaching like in a true way what we are, like teaching them about the Shema and like what it means, and, like what the Talmud is, and what our laws are like, and what our religion is. It was this dramatically humble submission to teshuva, to what it said it was, what it purported to be, redemption. Like this, and it was this, I think what really just struck me, it was this real form of teshuva that was needed, which was learning. It was just opening your eyes and seeing who we really are. Like, it was this deeply cathartic feeling of like please Germany, this is who we are. This is what we've been trying to tell you. This is just this is just what Judaism is. It's not all that, and all this crazy. It's just this. It's the Shema. It's learning. Um, and the fact that it was also this such like this, it was this basic education. It was like this is what like the Torah is, and this is what the Shema is, and this is like our most this is our most important prayer. This is what when we study, then this is what we study, and this is what it means to like they had like a just a movie playing of just like people, some rabbi who was saying things which were very simple and accurate, explaining kashrus and explaining that like it's not a matter of of health. It has to do with thinking about what you eat, and different situations can put things into different categories of law. Just these basic facts. The fact that it was not this mind-blowing thing. It was not this philosophically profound. It was not the big picture. It was like it felt like if you imagine, like it was like a Nazi soldier after World War II, shaken with like grief and regret for what he's done, and like if you imagine like that person in looking at his country and just taking off his uniform and sitting at a desk like in like a first grade classroom and being taught like a child, just the very very basics, like the alphabet of who we are. Um, like that's what it was. And I think kind of like the takeaway of that, that kind of motif for me, um, was that we see this giant evil, the worst of the worst, when it comes to historical evils, and we expect this proportionally weighty, difficult, impossible effort when it comes to doing teshuva for something like this. When it comes for to you know a reckoning about this and fixing it, and something this big that seems it's like what can a person do to fix something that's this deeply wrong? And what the answer was just opening your eyes. Like that's all it is. It was just taking in what's actually in front of you. Like that is the teshuva process here. And it's not this big crazy thing. It's this very intensely humble thing of just swallowing your pride and learning. And of course, I'm not actually saying that that's all it is. I'm not making a statement as to like where Germany is like in their process of figuring out their past and reckoning with it, and like confronting their inner demons. That's not what this is about. It's just that it's just this feeling of catharsis as a Jew, seeing this vital element of what the process is, and what Germany has done. I was not prepared to feel that way. It was it was a powerful experience.